Hi, Andrea. Thank you very much for having me on your show, and hello everybody in Croatia. I had an adverse reaction to AstraZeneca. My injuries were the vaccine-induced thrombosis and thrombocytopenia, so I had huge blood clots all within my arterial system going down into my legs, my arms, my kidneys, my bowel, and various other places. I presented in A&E feeling very unwell, and nobody seemed to know what was happening. But fortunately, somebody did put me in a scanner and discovered these huge blood clots all over my body. I was transferred to an appropriate hospital and operated on fairly quickly. Because when I was being admitted there, I actually could see my left foot dropping. The pain was appalling. And then my right foot started to join in. And they just swiftly took me to theatre. And I knew that I was in a lot of trouble because I've spent 42 years of my life working in an operating theatre. I've been very fit and active up to this point. I'd retired, but I did plan on going back to work to help out with the COVID crisis instead of continuing this career that I really wanted to pursue, which was working in alternative therapies. I've been left after that experience with peripheral arterial disease, fibromyalgia, tinnitus, which is most annoying. I get cramp in my leg, intermittent claudication. I've got a blood clot that runs from the back of my knee on my right leg down to my ankle in my popliteal artery. I've got a skin graft on my left leg, which they couldn't close. So I've got a one thickness skin laid over muscle, directly over muscle. In the winter, it feels like I've got a block of ice inserted in there. I've got a scar that runs parallel to it on the other side. This was the result of having to lay my legs open, put a knife in and cut down to relieve the pressure because I was in danger of losing my feet. I spent 6 days in the ITU. And at one point, they did think they were going to have to amputate one leg, then both legs, and then they warned my parents and my family that would probably lose my life. But somebody gave me the protocol for a very similar adverse reaction to a drug called heparin. They gave me the same medication that they would have given had it been heparin that I'd had. But of course, I had not had heparin. And it worked. It started to reverse the process. They were treating the cause and not just managing the symptoms, which is why I'm alive today. I'm very grateful to those people, but not all my experience was good. My vascular consultant was not convinced or decided it couldn't possibly be the vaccine, was trying to insinuate it was my lifestyle, which I had quite a decent lifestyle. I walked a lot, up to 5 miles a day during lockdown. Always fit, always active, worked long shifts prior to that. So there I was in hospital. I'd been in about 16 days and he decided to discharge me. I didn't feel well. I'd had a skin graft 2 days before. I'd had serious surgery just on the day I arrived. I'd spent 6 days in ITU on a ventilator. I'd spent a couple more days in the critical care unit. I could barely walk. I couldn't dress myself. I had to have assistance eating, drinking. I couldn't prepare food, but he wanted to discharge me because there was COVID within the hospital, just like there was everywhere else. I returned within hours. It was April the 1st he discharged me, and that's April Fool's Day. Well, he was the fool because I had to go back. It actually happened to be Good Friday, so nothing much happens over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday or the Monday because it was bank holidays here in England. So really I was discharged home with no follow-up care, no immediate follow-up care. The plans would not be made till the Tuesday because that's how the system works. I believe he sent me home to die, but I can't prove it. He didn't look very pleased when I returned. The haematologists were most surprised on the Tuesday when they came to see me. They didn't expect me to be discharged. And they pointed out that I'd been discharged on the wrong medication anyway. I should have gone home on warfarin, and they gave me another blood thinner that was inappropriate. So the whole discharge was inappropriate. I spent a further 18 days, which verifies it was an inappropriate discharge, where this consultant would not entertain the idea it was the vaccine. In fact, he made a very clear point of telling me I needed another vaccine, and I should perhaps have Pfizer because Pfizer was safe. And it's like you're living in a nightmare. You're isolated. There's people that are good to you, and then you've got these people that are absolutely terrifying because you know that they're not really looking after your best interests. I got home. I was met with like a lot of sympathy and a lot of empathy from friends and family. But the wider audience really didn't believe that I'd been damaged by a vaccine. They thought it was something else that nobody had ever heard of. That if it was the vaccine, it was okay because it saved everybody else. So I had to go under a bus. They could throw me under a bus. I could die because it was saving them. It saved others, which we now know is not true. The thing that upsets me greatly is the fact that they did treat the cause, and that wasn't acknowledged or made public for quite some time after, and far too many people continued to get the AstraZeneca and die as a direct result of having it. I felt very suppressed. I had medical people that told me that I couldn't possibly be injured by vaccine. And despite me saying, I'm the science, look at me, you definitely can, they wouldn't entertain it. I was meant to feel I was lying. I was meant to feel that I was being dramatic. I was seeking attention. I was meant to feel lots of things that I should not be made to feel. I felt very much like there was a lot of victim blaming. There must have been something wrong with me to have that reaction. Anyway, I ended up at the Truth Be Told rally quite spontaneously, which was organised by Sharon Eyre. And there I met people that seemed to show me a great deal of care. I was overwhelmed. I waved my little sign saying I'm vaccine injured. People talked to me, they were kind to me. Anyway, I ended up at the Truth Be Told rally quite spontaneously, which was organised by Sharon Eyre. And there I met people that seemed to show me a great deal of care. I was overwhelmed. I waved my little sign saying I'm vaccine injured. People talked to me, they were kind to me. They understood. I'd not come across this before. I listened to the people on the stage. I was astounded because I could relate to so much that they said, and I hadn't found anybody that spoke up like that. So yeah, it's been a pretty dreadful experience all along. I got my vaccine damage payment scheme. There was money set aside for 14,000 plus people to get that, but it's less than 200, and people are dying and people are living really dreadful lives because they're not getting what's due to them. They're not being acknowledged. And just because I got mine doesn't mean to say that I'm okay. I'm not okay about the fact that people didn't get what they deserve. So basically, the truth needs to be told about what has been happening, because we won't be silenced. We will speak out for them that can't speak out. And we hope that others join us, because these things do need talking about. Too much silence. Silence corrupts. Silence kills. So thank you, Andrea, and thank you everybody in Croatia for listening to me and for allowing me to get my story out.